Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we have a wonderful chapter, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chapter 7, The Sorting Hat. Um, I'm just gonna jump right into it because this is a good chapter. It covers a lot of stuff. We enter the building of Hogwarts itself, and when we enter the building, Hagrid kind of passes off the students to McGonagall, and she's the first person we see once that door opens up, and we can tell right there a lot about her personality. It immediately tells us that she was a very stern woman, who wasn't one to be crossed, one to be messed with. So these kids, their first impression of Hogwarts, other than Hagrid and the train or whatever, first impression of Hogwarts is this stern teacher who's straightforward and no nonsense type deal. So it's a very, very fun situation. I grew up, and there were plenty of times where, first day of school, you go in and you're meeting all your different teachers, and you get that one who's just, you already know you're not going to have a good year with that teacher. Um, so yeah, this is kind of what that felt like to me. Really good. And, but she doesn't really, she's not bad or anything, like I said, we already knew a little bit about her before from chapter one, but we really get some in-depth information into her. um she breaks down the houses for all the kids. She breaks down the houses, what they mean, what they are. It's going to be like your family while you're here at Hogwarts. Anything you do get you in trouble, or you're congratulated for anything, you're going to get points. So there's the house cup that gets brought up. And she just explains a good little bit of information for Harry, more in depth, I guess, than what Ron gave him in the previous chapter. So that's very good. He's getting this wealth of knowledge over the course of just a very short amount of time. Hard to process, I would assume, but yeah, I guess he does a really good job of it because he manages to make it through the year by the end of the book, um, without getting expelled. Um, so yeah, they're in this little tiny room. It's not even tiny. It's a massive entrance hallway that's actually bigger than the Dursleys' house. But McGonagall told them that they were going to be sorted into the houses. So with that being said, they're really scared and nervous. It for some reason it didn't rub me the wrong way, but Harry's anxiousness, it threw me off a little bit. But maybe just because I'm not the type of person to get anxious easily, but he just seems so anxious, and it's been building up for the past couple of chapters to where he's been asking, hey, am I worthy to be a wizard? Are you right? Are you sure it's me? Am I the one who you're talking about? So I get it, his nerves have been on end. um but it I don't know, I just didn't care to see him so scared about getting sorted into a house at that point. Like, you've made it in, and now you're worried about getting sorted into a house, which later on he gets even more scared and nervous. I'll hit that in a second. But yeah, the nerves just seemed a little too much to me. um but yeah, so they were talking about, oh man, I hear it's going to be dangerous. You might get hurt, stuff like that. Ron doesn't know what's going on either because his clowns of brothers, they've been telling him all sorts of stuff, like he's going to have to fight a troll or wrestle a troll and things like that. Um, so yeah, just those twins are they're marvelous characters. Um, so yeah, the ghosts, they come in, like I said, and when the ghosts come in, they're just kind of asking the kids, "Hey, what's going on?" Oh, they're being sorted, all this stuff. Nothing really serious for them. Um, After that, we actually move on to the sorting ceremony. Um, and the kids get brought into the main hall. They see all of these, this wonderful castle. They really get to see the castle in its glory right here. The candles are floating. The tables are, extremely long. There's kids sitting at all the tables. The ceiling is bewitched. Hermione comes out and points her knowledge right here that she's already read. Oh, I read Hogwarts of History. So she's already read Hogwarts of History, so she knows what's going on with that ceiling situation. When I was growing up, I actually would have liked it if the ceiling actually was opened up. But it being bewitched works just as fine, so no worries about that. So they line up on the wall, and then the hat gets put. Well, the hat is sitting there on a chair, and man, it was fun. It was fun. That was a good way to sort those kids. Um, and I just think it was I think it was really well done. The one thing I didn't necessarily like about the hat was it was singing. And me personally, I don't like when books add singing. I'm not a fan of it. I think it just for me it doesn't translate well. So I, but I will take that back and say for this book, however, this book I really did enjoy the Hat song. It was a nice song. It rhymed and everything, and it made sense. It explained a lot of stuff, what his purpose was. So yeah, I like it in this book. It made sense. Um, After that, everybody got put into the houses. Um, and we get back to Harry when it was finally his turn to get put into a house. Um, he was just nervous again, extremely nervous, and he was just thinking, man, what is gonna happen if that hat gets put on my head and it just doesn't know where to put me? Because they'd explained a little bit that the hat was sometimes immediately call somebody, a Slytherin or Hufflepuff, and sometimes it would take a little bit of time, maybe a whole minute would pass before somebody would know exactly what house they were in. So he was getting nervous, thinking, man, what if it just sits on my head, and then it tells me, I don't know where to put you. There must have been a mistake. You need to get up out of here. Um, I could understand that nervousness right there. That one made sense to me as well. It was fun. That was really fun. That's a very creative way to sort those kids into the houses, because it could have been done a bunch of other ways, an actual test of some sort. But I think this hat, that's a really fun and just an extra touch of magic in there, besides all the other magic that we're seeing. Okay, so yeah, they get sorted into their houses, and then Dumbledore comes and he says he's got a few words to say. They're absolute nonsense gibberish. I believe to this day my wife thinks those words have something to do with the bigger plot of the book. Um, but I haven't seen any fan theories on it or anything like that. But maybe they do, maybe they don't. Who knows? Um, but he does that, and then they get to eat. We get a little bit more information about how badly Harry was treated and how he didn't have as much food that he wanted when he was growing up because Dudley would always eat it. Um, and he gets to stuff himself like a pig and eat just anything he wants right now because the plates are absolutely packed. He gets a little bit of everything, and then the kids start talking. They start talking about their lineage. They start talking about birth. They start talking about, oh, I'm part Muggle. I'm full blood. I'm this. I'm that. We get to hear Neville's story, his background, um, and just how his family was. His family's insane. I must say, his family's insane. That's got a darker tone to it now that I think about it and that I say it out loud. Everybody's crazy though in that family. Why was he being hung outside of a window? That's insane. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to a child? He said he was 8 years old when his uncle held him out of a window and then let go. It was by accident. Yeah. I get that, but that's the Wizards. They do work differently, so I maybe that would make sense. A thing I do want to point out is that Harry was looking over at the Slytherins after everybody got sorted, and he was like, "Man, those don't look like a pleasant lot to me. I don't think I like them." So already he's definitely kind of nailed in to the fact that he is has nothing to do with Slytherin. Um, Even from the fact that when the hat got put on his head, he was saying he didn't want to be Slytherin. But this kind of just, it was fine. I think that's the final stamp. Um, is his thoughts just being, yeah, they as a group don't even look that nice or pleasant to me. Um, So I like that little stamp, that little solidifying the deal right there. One fun thing to note is that when Harry got sorted into Gryffindor, he had the loudest cheers of anybody. The entire, Gryffindor side went absolutely bonkers over having him in that house. The twins, they were yelling out, "We got Harry! We got Potter! We got Potter!" And that was beautiful to see. That was fun to see. It's good to see him get some recognition and some, it's just good to see something positive happen to him and people liking him other than just him being famous, which, that is why they were all cheering and stuff. But it felt good to see him having people happy that he is alive, essentially, because the Dursleys have always made him feel miserable about it. So that's good. um I would like to point out again, another thing of note. Another thing of note is the brothers. Uh, they showed out in this chapter. They showed out hard in this chapter. Besides the fact that Ron had already said that they lied to him and told him that he would be doing something dangerous, possibly fighting a troll in order to get sorted. They also catcalled the first person, the girl who got sorted into Ravenclaw, I think. No, she got sorted into Hufflepuff. Um, and then they also, were yelling outrageously, "We got Potter! We got Potter!" Um, and even Dumbledore, when he speaks later about the reasons and the things that you can't do this year in the school, he looks at them and, gives them a cold eye type deal. So we can already tell this is really good build up for them and just how outrageous they are throughout all these books. Very good story building right there, world building. It shows they have a past. It shows they have um, these characteristics, and we can expect that later on in the future. So yeah, the next really important thing that kind of happens is once all the words have been said and done, and the fun and stuff happens, um, Harry's looking around at the teachers, and he sees Snape and Quirrell talking, and his scar just starts to hurt. And I'm pretty sure that would be a new phenomenon in his life. But his scar starts to hurt, and he doesn't know why. This is the first instance that we know of it, and so we're kind of it's a good way to point out the villain in the story. And we've got these two people though that he's noticing, but the one that he looks at is Snape, and he even has this feeling after Snape gives him the look. He's like, this guy doesn't like me for whatever reason. He's just got the feeling this guy doesn't like me, and that's right after his scar hurts. Um, so that's beautiful writing right there. That's very beautiful. It's a good way to lead the reader on. um Man, I don't know what more to say about it. It's such a good secret, a secret of who's the villain and what's going on and misleading us. And thumbs up, J.K. Rowling, thumbs up, very good job on that. So after that, that's when Dumbledore gives his full speech on the things that are going to kill you at this school, the things you're not allowed to do, and all sorts of stuff like that. Just the closing remarks. So once the closing remarks are done, they head out and they are headed back up to the room. They run into Peeves, not really worried about that. Um, and the one thing that is to note is they were really tired. They were very tired. These kids were exhausted from being out all day. And since they were exhausted, Harry at least, didn't notice just how stunning the castle was behind um, behind the scenes. So when you're actually headed towards classrooms, when you're actually headed towards, excuse me, when you're actually headed towards classrooms, and when you're actually headed towards any type of recreational room or anything like that, the dungeons, your sleeping quarters, it's a labyrinth essentially. Moving staircases and doors behind pictures, doors, secret doors, all these things. Um, so he didn't really notice what was going on. So we just kind of got a little, oh, and this was happening, that was happening, but he was so tired he couldn't even, So that was fun. That was fun. I like that part, because we get that information in the next chapter. So that really was a good way to kind of just say, oh, there's even more magic. It hasn't died yet. Um, I like that. But yeah, they finally make it to Gryffindor Tower. After this long journey throughout the school and taking these shortcuts and switching stairs and all this stuff. And everything's good. The new students get, girls get put over here, the guys get put over here. Uh, Harry kind of wants to talk a little bit, but everybody's so sleepy that they fell asleep on him. And he has this dream. So when it comes to writing, and as an author, dream sequences are very, very special. They can often be make or break. They're oftentimes either a wonderful, amazing dream sequence or absolute hot garbage. Why did you put that in this book? And this one was just even more foreshadowing of what's to come. It was everything bad in Harry's life right now that wasn't the Dursleys. Um, and we should have picked up on, if we didn't pick up on it, then J.K. Rowling did a wonderful job. If we did pick up on it, did we catch what she really wanted us to see? That's the glory of writing a nice dream sequence where things aren't real and things aren't actually happening. Harold, what I do like is that Harry, in his dream, was feeling like the turban was talking to him. And it's only after so many books that it probably it probably was happening. That was probably Voldemort and the connection. I'm not positive about that, because maybe the connection didn't actually happen until Voldemort was resurrected. But I feel like that was that was the connection happening, that the two souls have. So I really enjoyed that part of the book. So I mentioned earlier that I don't actually like songs in books, and the crazy part is this chapter had two of them. Dumbledore, after the speeches were done and the feast was done, Dumbledore had the entire congregation of students and teachers actually sing the, I guess, school song is what it would be called, and uh, during this, we get even more of the twins' character, as they were the ones who sang the whole song in a slow funeral procession march. Whereas everybody else, the way he had the song sang was you choose whatever tune you wanted to. And they chose to drag it on and drag it on in a funeral procession song. Um, but yeah, even this song right here, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know, something about her writing, J.K. Rowling's writing, it gets me, and I was able to get over the fact that I do not like music in books. Um, so yeah, that was just a really solid chapter overall. Gave us a lot of answers, opened up a few new questions, and it was just overall well rounded with a lot of information in many different ways. Um, so I can't wait to talk to you guys next time when we go over chapter 8, Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone.